wakapanguza mtoto vizuri, they handed me the baby. I'm looking at this baby and I'm like, God of Lazarus, you rose Lazarus from the dead, raise this baby. And I'm clinging to that baby. Niamshiu mtoto. If you are truly God, niamshiu mtoto. Nothing. So the doctors wakakuja wakachukua mtoto wakaenda naye. So that guy packed his car, niambia shuka. Kachimba shimo karibu na Emergency Hospital. There's a garage there. Hapo tu karibu na mtaala, hapo ndo tulichimba tukazika. Hili tena barabara. Kuna sana kangevi nauliza kama kuna mnyama alienda tu akachimba kantolea mtoto hapo akakula. That's my child, nilizika kama takataka.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are meeting a guest. She's very special to my heart because her story has touched me in a way that I never thought a guest would touch me. And so after 12 years in marriage and 11 pregnancies, she has nothing to show for it. Well, I do not want to preempt this story, but this lady, beautiful lady, has a story to tell. She says she's going to trust us with this process in as much as it is painful, it is difficult, but as we invite you to listen to her story, we pray that somehow God touches you to encourage her, to stand with her and support her. Well, welcome to today's episode of My Story. My name is Yvonne Kawera.
My name is Rachel Njoki. Come from a family of 4. Both parents are alive. I have a brother, I have a sister, and a late sister. Yeah, so I'm the third born.
You're the third born?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How was life growing up, Rachel? Back in the village, where were you born?
I didn't grow up in the village.
Oh, really?
I grew up in Umoja Estate.
Allah, hapa tu?
Hapa tu, born and raised in Umoja Estate. Went to Busara Primary School. Kamalizia Apostolic Carmel Dance High School. Growing up, life was fun. I was a tomboy, a proper tomboy. Go to the shop or hata kwa basi and guys would be like, kijana songa.
Kumbe nitaholi you.
It's a whole new number. That time I inanisumbua sana. Ka teenage uko. Mimi si kijana, mimi ni msichana. And to high school, went to college, did my computers, did a few other courses. I have this mind inapenda kujua.
Curious.
I have a curious mind. So I did a bit of languages, few languages, Zulu, French, Spanish, German. Then I get bored.
Impressive, you did Zulu, you can speak Zulu.
I can speak Zulu so easy.
You forgot a bit.
I forgot kidogo. Sign language. So napenda, niko tu nakuwa curious mind, napenda kujua sana.
So we've come to a point where now you finished your courses and life begins. You now, as a normal person, you just look forward to starting a family. How does that go for you?
I was working in a cyber. I remember that time. Part-time. I go job in the morning, then I go to school in the evening. Yes. We used to cross paths a lot. So a hi here and there, a cup of coffee, and the rest is history. Yes. Kidogo, dad, kuna mgeni naleta nyumbani, and being the kabibi in the family after we lost our sister almost 20 years ago. Being the kabibi in the family, my dad is like, really? Because serious, ni mumeambia hivyo. But with time, alimu embrace too. They were not the best of friends. But umeninyang'anya msichana wangu. But with time, alimpolisikizana. Yeah. Yeah. Life was fun with him. I can't complain. He was loving, he was caring. Sijui kama ni mimi because he was my first. So he provided, he was there. Then I missed my period and I'm like, dude, I'm pregnant, and we were happy. First 3 months the pregnancy was smooth, yani kuna mashida, nakula vizuri, still going to work. And the 4th month kanza kuswell, my body is just swelling. I was 50 kgs when I got pregnant. By the time I was giving birth to baby Sean, I was 130 kgs. So the swelling, we didn't know, we just thought I'm eating a lot. Part of the pregnancy. Then kanza kushindwa kupumua. Then tukapeleka hapana.
Were you going for clinic?
Yes, I was.
Na hawakuwa concerned?
They were not concerned. Everything was okay. And now unamka siku moja, my face is swollen, my hands are swollen, to a point I was turning purple. And it was we went to Kenyatta and doc akaniona and it's like we unabaki kuna mali unaenda. So I was admitted. My blood pressure was really high. It was really high. Machine ilikuwa inasoma error. The test wanasoma to error. So they put me on medication. After that, after 3 days I was discharged. So nikakuwa ni clinic every Thursday. So every Thursday go to hospital, get admitted, kidischarge ukirudi the other Thursday umeadmitiwa tena. So hiyo ndio ilikuwa for 4 months. Because the first 3 months were okay. They did an emergency cesarean. Baby Sean survived for 2 days. And I heard his cry. Alitolewa because nikiadmitiwa, they took me for an ultrasound. Yani hakukuwa na fetal movement kabisa. Hakuna maji ya mtoto, imeisha. So nikakimbizwa theater, kutoa mtoto akalia, and I'm like, thank God. Nilisahau ile mashida yote nimepitia. Because that pregnancy ilinitesa. Yeah, I had his cry and I'm like, oh, I can breathe. My mom was telling me, daktari alisema akuokoe, wacha watoe mtoto, because to them the baby is dead sasa.
At that point.
Yeah, at that point. And I had his cry. Everything made sense. Sasa I was, thank you God sasa. Na understand sasa hakuna kitu mzuri natokanga mahali ya rahisi. So kanipeleka ward. 2 days later, na nimeambiwa 2 days come breastfeed your baby. 2 days later, nimekimbia 5 in the morning, 5 a.m. nimekimbia nursery. Where's my baby? The incubator hakuna mtu, jina mpaka jina imetolewa. Mtoto wangu wako wapi? Then the nurse is like, ebuka hapo nakuja. So I'm feeling my boobs kazi kuna maziwa. Ananiletea file and I'm like, file ya? Where's my baby? Daktari anakuja akaniambia mtoto alinyamaza jana 10 p.m. Actually we tried looking for you, but the doctors told us umedischargiwa.
Seriously?
I sat down. Yani ni kama sijui, ni kama tu azimu ilinishika. Yani kila kitu, everything came crumbling down. My world crumbled at that point. Ananiambia mtoto wako hapo. Cannot take him to the mortuary. We need you and the dad to come sign. Sijui some papers hata sikushika kenye alikuwa anasema. I called my husband, nikamwambia unatakika na hospitali. Why? And I'm crying. Ni nini mbaya? Wewe kuja hospitali. Ni nini mbaya? Sikuji, unajua sasa hata elewi nini. So anafikiria niko mgonjwa. Nikamwambia Sean amepass. Alinikatia tu simu. So akala family nini akakuja peke yake, then family ikakuja. But after that sijui, it's like akaskuru funguka tu. Huni mtoto umebeba and then you don't understand. Mungu mbona why mbona unakubali nibebe to this point? Alafu jua toto 6 months mtoto wa miezi 6 ana survive. Mbona utaacha nibebe mtoto 28 weeks? The baby just hivyo tu. Nimekosea wapi? And so that's got pregnant again. Lost the baby. It's 28 weeks. So now this baby died in my womb. Actually felt him akienda. Alinipiga na nguvu sana. Nilisikia ni kama malinifanywa CS. Ni kama panataka kutoka. Then nikasikia kitu imeanguka tu mara moja. My mama kanikimbiza hospitali kaindusiwa, and it's painful. You have a cesarean scar, then mtoto ajitoi and wakapanguza mtoto vizuri. They handed me the baby. I'm looking at this baby and I'm like, God of Lazarus, you rose Lazarus from the dead, raise this baby. And I'm clinging to that baby. Niamshi mtoto. If you are truly God, niamshi mtoto. Nothing. So the doctors wakakuja wakachukua mtoto wakaenda naye. Third pregnancy, fourth pregnancy, and I'm like, God, I don't understand sasa. Nimekukosea wapi? Yes, 20, it's either 24 or 28 weeks.
So third, fourth.
Yes, there was Sean, there was Benjamin, there was Joshua, there was Ella, and I'm like, what did I do that was so bad? That God umekaa tu kwa kiti yako hivi, unaona nikiteseka hivi. It's the worst kind of pain. They judged me, they rejected me vibaya. I'm a people person, so during that time I lost a lot of friends. And these are people you expected. They will laugh with you, they will cry with you, they will be by your side. Because now they are not just friends, these are your family.
Yeah.
But they're not there anymore. The same people who come, hey, pole mama, you know, we've gone through this before. Hata hii utatoboa. And I'm like, unajaribu kuniambia nini sasa?
Like
this is not a baby. So I became bitter. I became an animal. I never used to care about anything. Nilifika mahali nilianza tu kuparara. Najipaka mafuta and you do this, niko tu grey. Because I don't care, mind yangu iko sawa sasa. I've thought of committing suicide. But I've never tried. Yes, I've wrote suicidal notes. Nikachia my mom. Then asubuhi niko nenda naitupa mahali. Then got pregnant again.
This is the 5th now.
Yes. Lost that baby. Sasa hapa nikaambia Mungu, I think it's cause ile kanisa naenda nipelekani na wewe. Wacha nibadilishe madhabahu. So I joined CFF Donholm. And Pastor Gitai really walked with me. I think he's the only man of God. Ajisimama hivi akanijudge.
Wow.
It got to a point after my 7th pregnancy. You know, he was so happy nikimwambia, wow. Because the 7th pregnancy, nilikuwa najaribu sana iko inakuja. Yes. Already kwa nyumba siongeleshwi kabisa. The only communication kwa hiyo nyumba being kwa kitanda peke yake. We never used to talk. We were like furniture. Tulifika mahali tukachukia nile kabisa. But I'll stay in this marriage because I want a baby. And alikuanga tu hapo cause whatever. Yes, so there are times saizi I understand what he was going through, but we never talked about it. That I'm hurting, sijaribu, let's try adoption, blah blah blah. We never talked about how it was affecting our marriage, how it was affecting us as individuals. Because it really affected us and we became enemies. We never used to talk. He'd come home from work, akule, alale. We never used to talk. The only time we talk is mimi nataka mtoto. We try, vitu zinaenda vibaya. Nile anakuangalia zile za ni shida umejiletea. Ni shida umejiletea. But those days nilikuwa na blame sana. Don't blame me sai. Because sikuwa iva kiatu yake. I was that selfish. Sikuwa iva kiatu yake. So after the 7th pregnancy, my pastor is like, hii ni nini isiki Mungu? Because if it's sacrifice, hakuna sadaka sijapeana church. No, there are times I'd go to church, hakuna mtu on a weekday, and I tell God, God now, this is, nimekabasha, imeona, nimeuza vitu sasa. God, ndio hiyo. Kama sasa ni baraka nitanunua, ndio inanunua. Ni maombi naomba vibaya. Sikuwa na understand. Then the baby dies. got pregnant, made pregnancy, haikunipeleka vibaya. Kufika 24 weeks, we go to hospital, doctor tells you, come tutoe mtoto kesho. Akae kwa incubator. Maybe the pregnancy imenipeleka vizuri sana. And hospitali, mtoto alikufa. Ametolewa. Nikaambia mniadmit. Kwani mtoto mkae na yeye naenda nyumbani. I go home. I clean my house. Sasa hapa nimetoa meza for sitting. And I tell God, the only way to understand my pain, mimi na wewe tukienda physical. If Jacob alipigana na wewe, unapata mwingine sasa. Nilisimama hapo kama mwenda wazima and I'm telling God, shuka sasa. Shuka. Because you call me your child, your children are an inheritance from you. Kwani watoto wanatoka kwa shetani? I kneel down and I tell you, God, you gave me a womb for a reason. Bless my womb. And unaacha na beba mtoto. Si mtoto tu, akiwa damu tu, kabla kwa mtoto. Akushuka, but he broke me. I cried for more than 4 hours, continuous. Machozi sijui natoka wapi. And I'm still crying. Nimelia. Na kutoka after that, nakasikia, I'm relieved. Following day, nikaenda kazi. Still hii nyumba hakuna mtu anaongelesha yule mwingine. Unarudi, unapika, umekaa tu. 8th, 9th, 10th pregnancy. Same thing. Doctors have come up with way stories. My cervix is too short. Go for an ultrasound. My cervix is okay. It's preeclampsia. They have never found protein in my urine. This is pregnancy-induced hypertension. Women who have pregnancy-induced hypertension, they give birth. Others give birth to very healthy babies, and their babies survive. What is wrong with me? What is this that even doctors cannot see? They don't even have a name for what I'm going through. So my last doctor akaniambia, try getting pregnant again, you'll die.
What?
And I told him, you're not God. You're not the one who gave me a uterus. So you're not going to tell me what to do. I will get pregnant again until I hold a baby in my hands, a live baby. Nilishikwa na depression baya sana. Actually used to go to Marital hospital and I tell them, nataka kulala for 3 days, just want to sleep. Say no, hatufanyangi hivyo. Because I'm hyperacidic, tena nikule pilipili mingi. Ziniaribikie tu, then I go, I'm sick sasa.
Admit me now.
Admit me. The time they admitted me for a whole year. Go home, nakojeka narudi hospitali. I don't want to be in the same house with this man. Narudi hospitali.
Is he coming to visit you in the hospital?
No.
You're not talking at all?
I don't even want to see him. Dr. Nyamu ndio aliniambia, you have to try this. Wish amukufe. Na ukikufa dunia itazunguka tu, seti itasimama. Is he the only man in this world? Why are you holding on to somebody who does not want you? Nyamu left. Dr. Raymond came and told me the same thing. Dr. Maureen told me the same thing. And I'm like, sasa hapa ni maisha yangu sasa. So when we parted ways, I was pregnant.
You didn't know?
I didn't know. I went to stay with my mom for a while. That pregnancy was not as bad as the others. So actually thought nile environment nilikuwa. But niko kwa nyumba. I used to do some online jobs. Didn't afford to buy dawa because most of my pregnancies I have to be on medication. Nenda kwa washroom. Mtoto ako katikati ya miguu zangu. What? I screamed. Wakati ya corona. Curfew ni saa 1. Hii ni saa 3 usiku. Hakuna bolt, hakuna mtu utapigia simu akukujia. So I called a friend. Nikamwambia this and this just happened. Kaniambia mkami, nichukua kanipeleka kwa Marital. By the time tunafika mtoto wako hapa. Sisi mtu wako they'll say I was trying to have an abortion in the house. wakachukua mtoto, ametoka na placenta na nyungu ya mtoto na mtoto wako ndani. Mimi sijiona kitu kama hiyo. My baby is still inside the sac, plus the placenta. And I'm asking my mom, hii sasa ni shetani gani? Because I've never seen something like this. And it was a girl, baby girl. They told me we can
at that point?
24 weeks. So Dr. Nyamu akaniambia ni sawa tu, I see him after 6 weeks. But they can't get rid hiyo hata wakimtupa kwa dustbin. Wanaweza kuwa na legal issues mingi sana. Can we just take your baby to Mama Lucy Hospital? Get to Mama Lucy Hospital. Bana. Hii hatuwezi chukua.
Walikataa.
Mwenye tuko naye anauliza tutazunguka mpaka saa ngapi na maiti kwa nini?
So you're carrying a baby
that
like
guy.
this?
Actually, carrying my baby was put inside a garbage bag. Kapewa. And I held my baby. My mom is seated beside me. But she was like, Hauli, uko tu. So you know
Came now.
So that guy packed his car. Niambia shuka. Kachimba shimo kando na Mama Lucy Hospital. There's a garage there. Hapo tu karibu na mtaro, hapo ndo tulichimba tukazika. Hili tena barabara. Kuna sana kagevi nauliza kama kuna mnyama alienda tu akachimba kantolea mtoto hapo akakula. That's my child nilizika kama takataka. Then there's a human being somewhere living his life like this yeah.
At that point, because your marriage had broken, did you inform your husband? Was he there for you?
No, he was not there. He has never been there for me. The only time I'd see him is when he was coming to discharge me in the hospital.
This last time?
No, this last time. I called him. He didn't pick. And I told my mom, wacha tu. Sai mali imefika. Nimechoka sasa. I'm tired. Just want to go home and sleep. So my friend took us back to Komarok Modern and they gave us like a very that kadawa strong sana. Kanipatia kadawa nikalala for 2 days. Kuamka sasa and I'm asking people, is my baby? My mom knew hapa sasa. Hapa kumeharibika. Hapa kuendi vizuri. And wakiongea wanipeleke sijui nikaadmitiwe sijui wapi, hapo ndio nilijua in Nairobi amjaniona tena. I think hapo ndio nilianza kutafuta job zinanitoa mahali pamoja zinanipeleka mahali pengine. Started moving around a lot. I stay in Mombasa for maybe a month, nitoke niende mahali pengine. Sikuwa nataka kukaa mahali mtu ananijua sana. Because sikuwa nataka kuona a happy couple or a pregnant woman. Ilikuwa inaniuma vibaya sana. Then unaitwa baby shower and people are like, why are you here?
People would tell you that?
Yes. Don't hold my baby. You are cursed. What the things I've had, ilifika mahali to this point, sahi hata kuna matusi unaweza niambia ati you know ndio kwa maana huwezi pata watoto sijui. Hakuna kitu unaweza niambia saizi ati iniume. Lakini nimesikia zote. I've had yani and then there's a time I went to Kenyatta National Hospital and I'm telling them nataka death certificate ya watoto wangu wote sahi. I want to give my baby names. So unachukua upeleke wapi? Kakata. A friend bought balloons. Kandika majina. We came up with names and we released those balloons. And I thought finally, I can breathe, I am healed, I am okay. I was far from okay. Go to hospital and I'm being told, unajua uko na PTSD. You need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
So a friend told me, talk to Hillary Lisimba. Hillary, ni akitaka kukurudisha sense, huwa anafaa kuwa counselor ya mama kabisa.
He really walked with you?
Yes, we talked. Kwanza ndiye alikuwa ananiuliza, are you still okay? But a lot of what he used to tell me is, this life is 100% your responsibility.
Yep.
You choose to be okay and you choose not to be okay. Told me stop controlling things. If you're going to get pregnant again, let it happen kawaida. Sasa nikianza kwa na life na hiyo njia, and I'm like, okay. Sawa. I stopped controlling things because I'd go out on dates. Mwanaume anaanza kumwangalia zile za spam donor. Tell that man that you've lost 11 babies. Ile mbio atatoka nayo hapo.
Oh my goodness.
Atatoka. Then I started like, I've lost 1 baby, I've lost 2 babies, and this guy sticks around. And I'm like, how am I denying the other 9 babies? Not like they were not mine. I was looking for someone anifanyie hypnosis.
To forget?
Yes, I really want to forget, but I can't.
Oh, Rachel.
I really want to forget, because it got to a point that actually I don't have tears left. I don't cry. And every time I smile, it's a fake smile. I embraced the world to a point I knew I was going to die.
What did you do?
I used to drink. I used to drink. I'd buy alcohol, nenda nayo kwa nyumba. I'd buy alcohol, I'd buy weed, buy shisha. Mom forgive me, but zile vitu nimefanya hii dunia. Nilikuwa naambia Mungu, if you bless wale wabaya, acha nikuwe mbaya sasa. Because I was a very good girl. Acha nikuwe mbaya tu mara moja. Sasa venye uliokoa wale wengine pia mimi niseme, nilikuwa mbaya siku moja. When I'm giving that testimony, I started drinking. I started smoking.
All in a bid to numb this pain?
It was not even to numb this pain. It's like I was mocking God.
Oh.
Biblia yote from Genesis to Revelation umetumia watu wabaya. Acha nikuwe mbaya sasa unitumie. I was so desperate kupata mtoto. Na hii desperation ndio imekuwa my reason for waking up in the morning. I really wanted a child. I was so desperate. Ningelala mpaka na chokora nipate mimba. I quit smoking my own, vizuri sana. Sikufumbuka. Just woke up one day nikasema no.
You're done.
I'm done. Plus my blood pressure was very high. Now the alcohol was a problem. Si kitambo. Juzi tu. I was telling Hillary, kuna anointing kingine si kawaida. We are talking and I was holding a glass of wine and I'm like, I'm smelling this wine as kenikanda itapika. No, kudos. Finally, sasa at least umevuka hapo kama. We have not touched alcohol.
Wow,
nianze kuongea na Hillary. That's not for 2 weeks.
2 weeks now. It's impressive.
Every time nasikia ni kama ka depression kanataka kupiga hodi, I call Hillary. Ndio jamaa anaongeanga. But he listens.
He does.
I don't have people in my life that listen. Hillary listens. And Nula atakwambia sasa nimekunywa alafu.
Because you don't get the same stress.
Hiyo swali ndio unajiuliza, nimekunywa alafu. And amefanya ni wale tula tu divine connection itishanga Mungu anakutumia mtu ku unexpect kabisa.
Kweli.
Whatever he says makes a lot of sense. Because family wise nikilose mtoto anakuambianga so umepitia hii tena.
It's not the same, you know.
Hillary will tell you those are your babies. Kani kulia lia. Kama ni kuanguka anguka. Malize hiyo kilio mara moja. No, sijai was telling him sijai grieve vizuri. I had to be strong for other people. But nobody was there. Nobody was strong for me. Nobody held me and told me it's going to be okay. There's a God in heaven. Hivyo ninaambiwa wangu. kuna Mungu mbinguni. I know there's a God in heaven. Najua kuna Mungu mbinguni. Tell me something that I don't know. Explain to me why I'm going through this. But juzi ndio mtu aliniambia maybe God was trying to get you to that marriage. Ulikuwa na kichwa ngumu sana huko unataka kutoka. That was the only way angekutoa hapo. Why don't you try again? But now trying again. That's the problem. Saizi naishi maisha a different life. I have a job. I eat, I sleep. Vizuri. I'm not depressed. I used to go for days bila kulala. I don't close my eyes because I'll start having nightmares. I don't close my eyes. And say I sleep vizuri sana. I'm doing things I never thought that I was capable of doing. I'm discovering things about myself zinanishock me mwenyewe. And this is the point where I say I thank God. But now these parts here, I'm desperate to have a child. You know, I used to babysit for colleagues, and then I bond with that baby. Then when the mom comes, nachukua mtoto, it's like I'm going to another miscarriage. I'd break down. Unamchukua kwa nini? I'd bond with that baby to a point ananiita. Nakuwa sasa ile love ya mama sasa nataka nisikupatia watoto wangu napatia huyu. Like my girls. Hawezi attack my girls. Hiyo motherly love na kuanga nimewapatia yote. One would fly and I'm like, wow, Amanda, it hurts.
You're attached to
Yes,
them.
I am attached.
Tell me what happened after we first ran your story on our website.
When I told Hillary to run that story, I didn't know. I thought he'd atanitumia kwa WhatsApp kwanza nipitie alafu so a friend nikapata messages WhatsApp mingi. I've seen you on Tuko. And I'm like, nilisweat, nakumbuka nilitoa sweater and I'm telling my girls, oh my God, story yangu niko Tuko sasa. And I thought sasa hapa ndio dunia sasa itaniua. Sasa ndio this is the time now that people will talk ile vizuri. But the support nimepata.
Oh, that's good.
The same family who would badmouth me. Ile asking my mom, kwani mulichokoza nani akakufa? Huyo mchawi alikufa hizi ondoa ilana. The same people wanakuambia mkuja tukae chini sasa tuongee. Same friends. Unaishi wapi? Wacha nikuja nikupatia a hug tu alafu enda. I've met strangers. Juzi kwa nimeenda mahali. A guy drove from Marital. He went to do the same, but for him he lost his wife. He came, he hugged me. Back to a point I'm like, you're joking me, and we really talked. Then akarudi. So he's coming back this weekend. And you know, it was funny because he does not want an intimate relationship with me. He just wanted to talk. For guys nizileza so jaribu na mimi. You know, the guys wakisomea story walisoma tu single. Na hakuna mahali pameandikwa I'm single. So for here's my number. Can we have coffee? I remember calling Hillary that day and I'm like, niko na marriage proposal kwa inbox. So I laughed. Ndio akaniambia don't go through the comment section. You're going to these things zikurudishe pale chini.
So some people can be brutal, you know.
But akili yangu lazima nipitie. And the support iko kwa hiyo comment section. I thank Tuko. At least people understand what I've been going through. People know. They're not hearing stories from other people. Hakuna kaka mkunji saizi ati Njoki aliiba sijui bwana yale niwe sijui yako na nini.
Inatoka kwako.
Sasa ni mimi nawaambia. It has been hard. Mama hana mtoto. It's not her fault. Ati hana mtoto. She did not create herself. And as a woman kukaa chini uongelele mama mwingine hivyo. Shame on you. Shame on that person. Because ile support nimepata from the male gender.
Wow.
Wanawake we judge our own vibaya sana.
We tear each other down.
Yes, we do. Ukiwa pale juu bado nile makofia really umeenda kwa mchawi bado ufikia hapo uko kwa Illuminati or nini.
They have to find a reason.
Yeah, they have to find a reason.
Ku attach kwa hizi vitu.
Yes, and Tuko has opened doors. I've met people and it's open doors. Nobody's telling you, come I give you a job. Ama here's 10,000, go do this. Your story has really touched me. I almost committed suicide.
Oh, so you've encouraged them?
Yes, I took a screenshot and posted the same on my TikTok. And I'm getting ladies from Nigeria, from Colombia, they're like, what? No, my daughter is going through this. Na haongeangi na mtu. She read your story and she's like, kumbe kuna mtu mwingine kwa hii dunia anapitia. So we talk kabisa. There are ladies wananiambia, why don't we meet? After 5 ladies wamepitia through the same. Tukae tu chini tuongee, we grieve pamoja. Kusikia yeye hakuna mtu ashiki kumkubali alie. Ambianga umepitia hii tena unalia. Wewe ni mtoto wake ndio kwa maana analia. Anyway, that's life. That has been my life. I have lived a happy life, a sad life. Sana jua dunia pande zote mbili. But saizi I am living. Nobody's dictating my life saizi. I'm not living out of fear.
Yeah.
Yes.
What does it take for you to feel that you finally healed? What is it going to take for you to feel like that?
Yeah, baby. I think you and your dawa.
So are you open to a relationship or maybe try marriage again?
No, I really don't want to try marriage again. I also don't want to try a relationship again.
Okay.
The 11 years was enough for me. They tore me down. Kabisa. There was never a point that you are strong, you can do this. It was always you are useless, you are nothing. Una maringo sana. Umerogwa. So I got tired. If this is what marriage is all about, I'm better off on my own.
You really don't want to get married?
I don't want to get married. I just want a sperm donor side. And I don't want to go through IVF. I want to tell my baby it was a very beautiful moment. You were created out of love. Yes, najua. It's a fake kind of love. I've been with somebody who used to tell me every day, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then this love turned into hate. I am not going through that again. I don't think hata mtu akikuja sahi aniambia I love you, kanta mwamini. It's not easy being single.
I know.
Going home to an empty house, there's nobody to talk to. It's not easy. Then ni ile akili yako tu za kufikiria. I researched a lot of spiritual matters. I wanted to understand how does this spirit leave my uterus and just goes. Mtoto haoni mama yake anateseka. I really researched a lot. Nikajua mambo mingi. A lot of spiritual matters. Issues that hakuna mtu ashainifundisha. And to this day, I've never understood what is happening. I've asked God questions. I've asked my spiritual father questions. I've asked Hillary questions. I even quoted verses in the Bible and I'm asking, kama ndio Mungu ni hata sidhani ashainijibu hiyo swali. So, imekuwa ngumu. Saizi I think natoa strength yangu mingi kwa Mungu. Alafu kwa Hillary. And I think na have kuacha sasa. There are times that I'm so down, not from work. I really enjoy my job. Kabisa. But kuna time hapana. You know, I'd call him and he's like, Aki, I'm busy. I'm writing this article, but hapana, utanisikiza. Either way, utanisikiza. Natakwambia sentence moja ndio like, nilikuwa nimepiga kelele. Nilikuwa nimepiga kelele. And
do settle.
Yes. But today I was telling God, let this be my beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. I've gone through so much. And I've suffered. I've really suffered.
In all this suffering, have you interacted probably with your in-laws before your marriage ended, how was it? Did they support you?
No. Yes, I used to call my mother-in-law a lot. But kijana yake.
Of course.
Especially the favorite son kwanza. Hakuna kitu namwambia. She was not a bad mother-in-law. Very quiet. And yes, there are things she did, there are things she said. Then my sisters-in-law watakuja wakwambia. Kulisema. Ingekuwa ni after, I think I would have confronted that woman vibaya sana. But for me ni wale ignore and walk away. As much as naitangua, I think naitangua mchokozi because I really want to understand what is this that I'm going through. I met someone and this guy really understood me. But he really understood me because he really wanted company. But venye kazi yako iliisha, anyway, it's like my ex all over again. And I'm asking God, even ndio kutenda, I did everything to hold on to that guy. Same way I did everything to hold on to my ex. And after things went haywire, I told God, never again. Sitawahi jieka chini because of a man. Yes, I'm desperate to have a baby. When utanemea kwenye mtoto atatoka. But I will never put mwanamume tena before wewe. I think hii kukua desperate sana kupata mtoto. I'd hold on to kitori na vaa trouser. Mpaka nishike mimba. Sasa hivi niko tired. I'm tired. Job wise niko sawa.
Okay.
Job wise nafanya kazi vizuri. Nishi vizuri na kula vizuri.
But how really are you mentally, saizi?
I'm not okay mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally I'm not okay.
So you could use counseling.
Mentally I'm not okay. Nasa kaa chini and you're talking. Nifika katikati and I completely forget what we were talking about. I'm like, don't worry. Ile tu kukonesha niko sawa.
But you're worried.
Yes. I'm worried. I don't know if I'm losing my memory. I've gone to Sita Valley Road for counseling. But I'm speaking to mothers. These are women who have breastfed their babies. They don't understand what I'm going through. So no. I want somebody who understands what I'm going through. Somebody who has gone through loss.
Okay.
Yes. Somebody who will understand why mbona uli tena, mbona umejikausha hivyo. Somebody who has gone through an abusive relationship. Mtu amekaa chini amekubali kuwa dictated na binadamu. Because I used to walk in other people's shadows. Ndio nikubali. I fear rejection. Sitakangi kukamali mtu atani reject. I fear rejection. But other than that, everything else, I'm okay.
You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
And you're so beautiful. So if you take anything from this, you opening up today to us and trusting us with your story, is that you should not give up. And you have a whole life ahead of you. And God sometimes makes us go through things. I don't know why, but it will make sense when it does. When it does, you will know. Kumbe hizi ndio vitu zimekuwa zikifanyika, so that you will get the answer. So it's good that you still haven't given up hope. You still want to hold your child. And my plea is, don't attach yourself to people who you're seeing the red flags, that they're out to use you. Because now I'm sure people will see this story. Of course, we'll pin your number on the pinned comment, and people will reach out to you. People will tell you all sorts of things.
I've had all
You
sorts
have
of
had,
things.
so I'm not telling you something strange. Filter them. You've gone through rejection and love and fakeness and all of that, so you know how to smell fear. You know how to smell fakeness from the distance. Don't give them a chance. Stand tall. And I have noticed that you also numb to pain.
Yes.
You need to stop doing that.
I don't think I'd be happy in a relationship
Because you're numb.
I'm so used to pain.
Yep.
I thrive where there's pain.
So that needs to stop. And I'm telling you this because I have been numb too at some point. Sorry for another day. But it takes you facing that pain head on, accepting that that pain exists, owning it, embracing it, going through it, and then coming out on the other end and agreeing that this is my story, this is my past, but thank God I don't look like my past because I have a brighter future. And you do have a brighter future, brighter than you can even imagine. So first things first is recommending, like I don't even do this on shows, but please go for counseling, and I will personally help you. I'll link you up with a counselor, and I'll make sure that you break down those walls. You get to a point where you allow yourself to feel again. Allow yourself to be loved. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of all the beautiful things that God has created for us on this earth. You think you came here for nothing on this earth? You have lived all these many years for nothing. That's not true. Yeah. So I'll walk this journey with you. I'll force myself to be your friend.
Thank you.
And yeah, this is not the end of our conversation, although it's the end of our show. And before I wrap up, I would like you to share your number if there's someone out there who maybe is going through a similar experience and they would like you to probably just encourage them through your experience, or someone who wants to help you. The medical practitioners out there, and they probably have a solution. This is technology, it keeps evolving, so who knows, there might be something that can help you or someone. So we will
There's someone out there.
definitely. So please share your number and let people know how they can reach out to you.
My Safaricom number is 0713 193 412.
Okay.
My Airtel number is 0782 706655.
On all those names, it's Rachel
Njoki.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Njoki.
So
It's
much.
taken a lot of strength. I remember when we were talking, you were telling me I'm getting courage to open up, but then I'm also panicking. But then I still have to do this. But you have done it. And
a lot of courage.
It did. But I'm glad you did. And I applaud you for that. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for even giving us your time. I know it's not easy. Revisiting those painful memories, it's not easy. And so I applaud you for that.
Thank you so much.
Well, that has been the story of Rachel Njoki. She has not given up. So you're out there and you've heard her story, painful as it is, and you have a solution, or you just want to hug her and just show her some love, please reach out to her. Her number will be pinned on the pinned comment. So reach out to her, and when you do, remember this is someone who is hurting. So if you don't have anything nice to say, you'd rather not say it. But as always, we thank you for always supporting our guests. So we plead with you to again support her, work with her, love on her, and embrace her. Thank you so much for staying with us till the end of the show. My name is Yvonne Kawera, and until next time, keep it Tuko.